I mostly review games I like on this channel. However, every once in a while I play a disappointing or bad game that must be discussed. Which leads us to today's game, Pier on the Sega Dreamcast. I was really excited to finally get this game because I had missed out on the first two runs of the game on the Genesis back in 2010. Once the initial excitement and the novelty of playing a brand new Dreamcast game wore off though, I realized that I wasn't enjoying the game too much. The story has a somewhat cliched start. Hostin's father is gravely ill, so he and a couple friends decide to retrieve some herbs from a nearby forest to hopefully save his life. Sure, it's not the most original way to begin the game, but I've played plenty of RPGs that had a cookie-cutter plot at first and developed into something great. That really doesn't happen here though. It remains fairly standard and predictable throughout. The game does have some fairly interesting and likable characters though. This port gives you the option of swapping between the original Genesis graphics and some more updated kind of HD graphics. The updated visuals look pretty nice, except the character portraits, which look like they are from a crappy phone or Facebook game. Look at how bland and generic they are. The 16-bit portraits look much better in my opinion, and remind me of something from Phantasy Star or a TurboGrafx game. One thing you'll want to do right away is go into the options menu and turn Pathfinder off. I get why they put this feature in, but it's really annoying. If you leave it on, you'll spend lots of time struggling to get your characters to go the right direction. Combat is the classic turn-based style, but also has a unique gathering system. Some spells not only require magic points, but also gather points which can be accumulated in a couple of ways. This adds some strategy to the otherwise standard combat. Overall, I like the battles, but there were a few problems. One is the abundance of flying enemies at the beginning of the game. Only one of your starting characters can hit airborne monsters with normal attacks at the start. Edisot does have some throwing items, but the supply is limited, and there isn't a good way to replenish them for a while. Another is that your weakest character will constantly be targeted by your enemies. You'll be healing them a lot. And what is with all the ambush attacks? It's common for RPGs to have ambush or back attacks every once in a while, but this game seems to have one every 5 battles. The biggest problem I have with the game is the dungeon design. Every single one is a fucking labyrinth and so difficult to navigate. You'll have to search behind the objects in the foreground to find hidden platforms, or just wander around aimlessly until you stumble upon the right path. Even the towns are a convoluted mess of doors and passages. You do have a map, but it is completely useless. What the fuck am I looking at here? Is this supposed to help me find the path? It's just a bunch of squares. Where do I go? The menu is an issue as well. Just because this was developed for an old school console doesn't mean the menus have to be archaic. One of the benefits of modern game design is we know how menus should function. The one in Pier is incredibly annoying. There's no equipment sub-menu, those are all mixed in with the items, which cannot be sorted. Wait, there's a weapon called the Banhammer? That's fucking awesome. One good thing the game has going for it is the excellent music. All the tracks were a treat for the ears, and you have the option of switching between a classic sound or a more updated one. Pier is an average RPG that is hampered by some poor design decisions. It's not a game I would recommend, and only worth purchasing if you absolutely must have every Genesis or Dreamcast RPG. Still, I would like to see Watermelon try to make another turn-based RPG in the future, hopefully with a bit more polish. Anyways, that will do it for this one. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.